This is crazy.
Unbelievable.
We've had one question asked of us more frequently than just about any other, and it comes from our hook that we put into all of our videos, which is, we're Neil and Sarah. We're an early retired couple, sold everything we own to travel the world for the next 10 years.
And we share everything on retirement, travel and money along the way. And the question is, so what do you plan to do after 10 years of travel? And what a good question that is.
It is a good question, and someone once said to me, this 10 years thing, is that real, or did you just put that in there as like a really catchy thing for a YouTube channel to have? And no, we didn't put it in there for that. We did it for a really good reason, and we're going to cover that today. There are actually a number of reasons that you need to watch today's video, and they are: why 10 years? Why so prescriptive over the amount of years?
Secondly, are we going to blow through all of our money in those 10 years?
Thirdly, what about house prices? Aren't we going to get blown out of the market as house prices increase over the next 10 years?
Fourthly, what do we plan to do once that travel itch has been scratched?
And fifthly, what can you take from this for your own retirement planning? Right, let's get out and see this amazing place we're staying in. So let's get straight into it with that first thing about why 10 years so prescriptive. Well, it's probably me that's at fault for that, isn't it? Because I can be rather impetuous. I can travel just about anywhere in the world, and I'll get there and go, oh, I like it here, Sarah. we could stay here. Yeah, why don't we buy a place here?
That's exactly what you're like. And then once we have committed, he'd say, oh, I've missed travelling.
Yeah, that's right, that's right. So that's why we're doing it, and we're doing this slow travel thing. So if you've been watching our journey, we're travelling the turquoise coast here in Turkey. And today's video comes to you from Antalya, a wonderful seaside town. We're staying in the most delightful boutique hotel, and this place is just very, very cool. If you're going to be in Antalya, I strongly recommend you check this specific hotel out. We actually love it. You got a nice place to sit and have your breakfast, or sit outside and have dinner. Yeah, it's just everything about it is great. The rooms are just a standard hotel room, but it's everything around it, and the staff are fantastic too. And in Antalya, this is a classic case of why slow travel works so well for us, because not being on a vacation, we get just about anywhere in the world and we think to ourselves, oh, we didn't get a chance to do X. Yeah. So, for example, in Antalya, we're moving on very soon, and we wanted to see the Lower Dundas Falls. We've seen it on videos. Looks absolutely gorgeous. But we haven't got there. That always leads to the same conversation every time, and that is, well, we'll see you next time. And that's the beauty of slow travel. We're taking that pressure off to travel the world. So we're doing that. Oh, we got 10 years to see this world slowly. So it forces me not to rush out to buy something, forces me to slowly enjoy the pace of life that we have now taken on.
Absolutely. And as an aside, when we sold our house, we moved into a little apartment in a beautiful town in Staffordshire, UK, called Stone, and we did a couple of videos from there early on, and it was a lovely place. One day I caught Neil on the internet looking at apartments.
Yeah.
And I said, what are you doing, Neil?
Yeah, I know, I have my phone out and I'm looking at scrolling down. I said, hey Sarah, look at this place. That's really well priced. We could live there. Well, you know, if we were to buy that, then that would give us access to.
And so I had to remind you what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm dealing with, to be honest.
Yeah. So she reminded me, no, I remember now. We're travelling the world for the next 10 years. That's what she's dealing with.
We're not just going to Stone and staying there.
Yeah, that's what she's dealing with. But what I'm dealing with is Sarah. She's very frustrating. You know, these people always write about stuff. It gets on your nerves, doesn't it? So to the next point of this video, are we going to live like rock stars and blow through all of our money and in 10 years be totally destitute? Well, yes and no.
We're not being flippant when we say that, and this is a point that we would like you to listen to really carefully, because it is a game changer. So, are we living like rock stars?
You bet we are, man. We are rock stars, Sarah. champagne, caviar. Champagne?
It's the champagne of water. It's sparkling water.
Caviar?
Salted peanuts, Neil. You didn't give us the production budget for champagne and caviar. And anyway, you don't even eat seafood.
I'm not being treated like this. This is crazy.
Unbelievable. So let's just reframe this. Are we living like rock stars? Well, we think we are. We have an incredible lifestyle. We get to stay in different places, lovely Airbnbs, some wonderful boutique hotels, but it's very, very different to our old life where we used to vacation.
That's absolutely right. And the funny thing is, if we stayed in the UK doing the UK early retirement thing, then yes, we would be eating into our capital every year. But as it is, we're slow travelling the world and visiting low cost of living locations such as this in Turkey. Doesn't look horrible, does it? So, are we living the rock star lifestyle? Yes, we are. Are we spending the money of a rock star? No, we're not. This lifestyle shouldn't be sustainable, but it is. And I've just noticed, Sarah, that's why that bloke was like, I was coming down there, English guy looking at me, and he's thinking, oh, he's a bit blinged up. Right, let's get this off. Next week's video is on the subject of geo arbitrage. Fits nicely into what we're talking about today on slow travelling in low cost of living locations. If you're not yet subscribed, now might be the perfect time to think about doing that so you don't miss it. So what about this thing about the housing market, and are we going to get priced out of the housing market the longer that we travel the world? We've been asked that more and more often, and it's a really interesting question, isn't it? Because we're all kind of taught that our house is an investment, and if you leave the market, then you're leaving the opportunity to regain entry to the market. But here's some statistics. So first of all, over the last 10 years in the UK, the housing market has increased by 4.3% annually. And the f.i.r.e 100, let's use that as a nominal index, the main index in the UK, over the same period has increased by 7.38 annualised. So what does that mean? Well, it means that the f.i.r.e and the stock market is increasing at a faster pace than the housing market. That's not to say that the housing market isn't going to race ahead of the f.i.r.e. It just means that investment doesn't have to be in a single asset class. So if we're out of the housing market and we decide to get back in 10 years time, there's a very good chance we will be able to do that. But if we can't, there are other options, aren't there? Also, be aware, I'm not saying here that housing is not a great investment. We had a house for 20, 30 years, longer than that maybe, I don't know. And there are benefits of that and the stock market and other investments as well. And obviously the other benefit you have from a house is the utility costs. You're living in it. You're living in your investment. That's a good thing. There are also investment costs that come with both. If this is something you would like me to do in a future video to talk about the difference between investing in the stock market to a house, then happily I will do that. Or I can talk about the cost of owning a home, because it's a bit greater sometimes than any of us ever realise. I'm being shadowed by a lighthouse. How cool is that? It's nice out here, isn't it, Sarah?
It's lovely.
Look at that. That is a, what's that called? That's a submarine.
Yeah, a glass bottom boat.
Sarah had a few drinks last night. I do apologise for that. Oh, she's left some of her bottles down here.
So what do we plan to do when our 10 years of travel comes to an end? Well, this is where we think we are being quite clever. In our working phase of our life, we had to live close to our work.
Yeah, so why else do you think we lived in Birmingham, for example? What?
That's my hometown you're talking about, Neil.
Yeah, so?
Well, take it back, otherwise I'm going to get my family on you.
All right, fair comment, fair comment. Her brother's a bit fierce, so I will take it back. And actually, Birmingham is my favourite city in the UK. So, people in Birmingham, give us a thumbs up for that. The rest of the people in the UK, don't give us a thumbs down for that, because who knows if I'm telling the truth. So that's an important point, and you get the point though. When you're working, you have to live close to where you are, unless you're one of these digital nomads,
yeah.
which we seem to have become doing this, this YouTube thing. So what we're doing on this journey, traveling around the world, is we're kind of treating it like a long-term house hunt. And as we're traveling, we are keeping a database of everywhere we go, and we've got a number of data points that we put in there, that things like climate, for example, being in Antalya in April, spot on, because if we look at it from the perspective of time of year, it's not that expensive. We're on shoulder season, but it's lovely and warm. At the moment, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and
It's beautiful.
it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. It's good. So that's the important data point we're looking at. Most important data point though is, can we live here? You know, that's one thing that we all do when we're looking for places to live, and that you have all your, these are the criteria, then you get to a location, you go, oh, I love this. Yeah. Doesn't meet any of the list of that you've got, but you, oh, nice. And then, and then another place you think, oh, that's going to be perfect. You get there, you go, oh, I don't know what it is. I don't know, just not feeling it.
We are expecting the first 5 years to be quite random and exploratory, then the second 5 years to be returning back to our favourite places and dive a little bit deeper. By the end of the 10 years, we should have a fairly good idea as to where we want to settle in our dotage. Will that be in the UK, and will we buy or rent?
So Sarah thinks we're going to be in our dotage when we're in our mid-60s. So, people in your 70s, how do you feel about that? Let us know in the comments. Make it nice. Anyway, so are we going to do that? Are we going to settle after 10 years in the UK? And are we going to buy or are we going to rent? Well, we're going to make a video on that in 2032. So stick that in your diary and come back then to find out what we're going to do. But really, for us to make a decision like that at this point isn't going to be helpful, and probably is going to be 100% wrong, because we're going to learn a lot over the next 10 years. Hence why you're going to come on this journey with us, because it's going to be a lot of fun, isn't it?
So we mentioned at the start of the video that our experience could help you while planning for and during your retirement.
Yeah, that's right. And if we look at what we did for ours, we kind of shook the chains off in many ways. We didn't think about who we were, we thought about who we wanted to be, and we've done something totally transformational for us. What about you? What are you going to do for your retirement, or even if you're in retirement now, you've got the world at your fingertips? Are you going to continue doing what you're doing? And that's a great idea if you're loving what you're doing, or are you going to do something different? Let us know in the comments. We'd be really interested to know, because we're looking for ideas all the time for how we can change things up as well. Next week's video is on the subject of geo-arbitrage. Really interesting subject, which is basically earning money in high cost of living locations and spending in low cost of living.
And we think this video will be the perfect one for you to watch next. You've been watching To Go Roam. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.